It has officially turned into a huge mess. The Indiana Fever are surrounded by non-stop questions tonight, and the WNBA is suddenly dealing with one of its biggest storylines in years.
The league just has to do better, and we have to invest in those areas. The technology can get better. We can treat the referees a little bit better, pay them like they're full-time employees. I think things like that. And, I think a lot has obviously come after that. And as I've stood up here and said before, like the harassment, the hate, none of that is okay. That goes for the opposing team we play. That goes for my teammates. That goes for my coaches. There should never be a question of character. Like I've always stood up here and said that, and that's truly what I believe. That's how I was raised. So, none of that is okay, and I don't want anybody to ever experience that. I think it can be really frustrating to me at times, and I think it's difficult. I think a lot of people sometimes think I'm a robot. I'm not a robot. I have emotions. I have feelings, and it can be really difficult to go through a lot of that. And I'm 24 years old trying to navigate a lot. And I think at times I've been in this world for 4 years now, and you would never change any of it. But there are times that it is hard, and there are times that, it probably affects me a little bit more than I do put on. And, I would never change any of that for the world. But I think it's important that people do remember that part of it too. So
what started as quiet rumors is now making major headlines. Reports and speculation are spreading fast that Caitlin Clark could eventually move on from the Indiana Fever. According to the latest reports, Lynn Roberts and the Los Angeles Sparks are being linked to a massive multi-million-dollar proposal that could give Clark a fresh start if the opportunity ever becomes available. Sources close to the conversation claim there is growing frustration with the situation in Indiana.
Could this be a push? Could this be a final push for a sign of things to come? Lynn Roberts, head coach, LA Sparks, planting seeds in the ground for Caitlin Clark to blossom and eventually put on a LA Sparks uniform. The talks were once hot. They might be heating up again.
And every new detail has fans talking. The buzz has become so loud that people across the league are watching every move. At first, almost nobody believed a story like this could gain so much attention. But after months of public questions about Clark's role, her relationship with the coaching staff, and the direction of the team, the conversation has only grown louder. Many fans believe the organization has struggled to get the best out of its biggest...
Each other off the floor. I just don't think that on the floor, it's a good mix. I think they just see the game through two different lenses. And we have been yearning and calling for Stephanie White to actually stand up for, represent, and be front and center for Caitlin Clark. And she's refused to do it at every turn outside of a 30-second clip post the Alyssa Thomas situation, in which she backtracked on everything she said and made Alyssa Thomas the victim when her superstar point guard was the victim. It just makes no sense how Stephanie White has gone about this. And you see the things that LA Sparks doing. You got Cameron Brink. Hey, Sophie Lexi can making her way downtown. Look,
its biggest star, and now speculation about the franchise's future is reaching another level. If you think this is just another routine trade rumor, think again. There are growing reports of major discussions happening behind the scenes, and they could have a huge impact if anything actually develops. Tonight, we're breaking down the reported interest from Los Angeles, the pressure surrounding Indiana's front office, and
great. And you think about like the passion that these players have and their want to. How do you marry that with the execution that you just talked about in this film session to actually win games?
Yeah, and that's the issue right now is the ability to push through and get out of our own way on some level. But there's an element of toughness and effort that isn't consistent. And last night we just looked disconnected. But I don't like using excuses. We got to be better. We're pros. We all have a job to do. We got to show up and do it better. And like I've said many times, the good news is today it's all about Indiana. We got to turn the page, learn from what we learned from what we saw last night. But that's not going to win any games. The level of connectedness, the max, second and third efforts. If we don't have those. It's not going to be good, but we have the talent needed, even with KP out, even with Cam out, to be more competitive than that.
Yes.
And why this situation has become one of the biggest talking points across the entire league. To understand why so many people are connecting Caitlin Clark with Los Angeles, you first have to look at the frustration many fans have expressed over how things have unfolded in Indiana. For months, supporters have openly questioned coaching decisions and wondered whether the team has truly put Clark in the best position to succeed. Fans watched every hard foul and every physical matchup involving Clark. And
During this stretch, talk to me about just the decision today to just like practice and just say, we're just going to watch film. You know, if you want to shoot a little bit, you can shoot a little bit, but not even really do too much on court and just say like, this is what we got to do. Here it is. Let's go do it.
And that's the reality at this point in the season too. Like, we don't need to go through our plays right now today and wear them down physically. It's mentally having the focus and the intensity needed to execute. It's that simple. Now, it's hard to do, but I'm not saying it's simple to do, but it's a simple fix. Like that's what it is. Being in the right coverages, whatever it is, offensively being where we need to be. Like, do your job, all of us.
And many questioned whether she was getting enough protection on the court. Social media lit up with debates after several tough plays, with many supporters arguing that opponents were playing extra aggressively. At the same time, critics felt the coaching staff wasn't doing enough to publicly stand up for their franchise star or push back against the growing frustration surrounding those moments. The debate reached another level when questions surfaced about Clark's playing time and injury updates.
Well, I believe the vote is a mix between like the fan vote and then players and media, but it still just didn't work out in her favor. I mean, what else does a person have to do if they're averaging 24 points, 6 assists, a 5'8" guard shooting above 50% from the field? Like, what else can you do?
Other than be super active on social media, nothing. Like that seems to be what the parameters are. So, but KP's about winning. She's about being great, being excellent. She'll take it in stride.
What are you going to, if you haven't been able to talk to her about it yet, when you do, what are you going to say to her about it? A season that is worthy of being an all-star starter. Well, MVP, but an all-star starter just for the base level.
Some fans even claimed the explanations coming from the team didn't fully match what they were seeing, leading to speculation that roster decisions were about more than just basketball. Those claims remain unconfirmed, but they fueled even more discussion. Reports suggest Clark's camp has grown increasingly frustrated with how parts of the situation have been handled. For many supporters, the relationship between Clark and the organization appears more strained than ever. They argue that you can't expect a generational talent to stay happy if she feels she isn't being put in the best position to succeed.
I haven't talked to her yet about it. I'll see how that conversation goes.
Okay.
Listen, man, Kelsey Plum got did dirty, just as Caitlin Clark got did dirty. We all know they rigged the fan voting for Paige Beckers. Paige Beckers jumped 400,000 votes in like 3 days. We all know it was rigged. It was scammy. They just didn't want Caitlin Clark to be the captain. But the Los Angeles Sparks, I think Caitlin Clark in LA would be a beautiful thing. And it's going to be very, 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 very interesting to see how this thing plays out in Indy. I think how the season finishes up is going to play a major part. And I think regardless of how things go, this is the very last season you'll see Kelsey Mitchell and Caitlin Clark as teammates. This is it. And I think the LA Sparks are planting seeds in the ground and prepping for a move to bring Caitlin Clark to Los Angeles.
Whether that's the full story or not, the outside perception has shifted dramatically, and the pressure on Indiana keeps growing. That's exactly why the Los Angeles Sparks continue to be mentioned whenever this conversation comes up. Reports suggest the organization would have strong interest if Clark ever became available, seeing an opportunity to add one of basketball's biggest stars. League insiders have speculated about a potential blockbuster package that, if it ever became realistic, could reshape the market and send shockwaves across the WNBA. Lynn Roberts has also drawn attention with comments that many fans have interpreted as showing admiration for Clark's game, adding even more fuel to the speculation. Whether those connections mean anything or not, people continue continue to wonder what Clark could look like in a different system with a fresh coaching approach and one of the league's biggest markets behind her. Insiders and fans alike have also started connecting other notable names, including Sophie Cunningham, to the bigger conversation surrounding Indiana's future. Right now, those ideas remain speculation, but one thing is clear: the spotlight is getting brighter, the rumors are growing louder, and every new report is adding another layer to one of the biggest stories in the league. The biggest question now isn't whether fans are talking about this story, it's how much louder the conversation will get over the next few weeks. Every interview, every lineup decision, and every update from the Indiana Fever is being picked apart by supporters looking for clues about what comes next. That's why every new report instantly grabs attention across the basketball world. League observers know that players with Caitlin Clark's level of star power don't come around very often. When someone can fill arenas, drive television ratings, and bring millions of new fans to the sport, every organization pays attention. Even if no deal is on the table today, front offices around the league would almost certainly be watching closely if the situation ever changed. At the center of all this is one simple question: can Indiana convince everyone that the franchise is moving in the right direction? Fans have been debating coaching decisions, player rotations, and the team's long-term vision for months. Every close game and every unexpected decision adds another wave of discussion, making it even harder to quiet the rumors. Meanwhile, Los Angeles continues to be one of the teams people naturally connect to these conversations because of its market, resources, and history of attracting big basketball names. Whether that speculation leads anywhere is another story, but it has definitely captured the attention of fans who are imagining what a completely different future could look like. One thing is certain: the spotlight isn't fading anytime soon. Until there is a clear answer from the team and the season moves forward, every headline, every press conference, and every social media post will be analyzed from every angle. For now, the rumors remain just that, rumors, but they've become one of the hottest topics in the WNBA, and the basketball world will be watching closely to see what happens next. The amount of speculation surrounding this situation has caught the attention of basketball fans everywhere, and if the reports are even close to accurate, league officials are almost certainly paying attention. A storyline involving one of the WNBA's biggest stars naturally creates questions across the league, and everyone is waiting to see how the Indiana Fever respond. If the relationship between Clark and the organization has truly become as strained as many reports and fan discussions suggest, Indiana could be facing one of the biggest challenges in franchise history. Supporters have openly questioned coaching decisions, the team's direction, and whether enough has been done to build the best possible environment around its biggest star. Those debates have only become louder with each passing week. Now the pressure is on the Fever's leadership to show a clear path forward. They must deal with growing public scrutiny, constant media attention, and a fan base demanding answers. Whether that means changes behind the scenes or simply better communication, everyone will be watching the organization's next move very closely. Meanwhile, the Los Angeles Sparks continue to be linked in fan speculation because of their market, resources, and ability to attract attention. As of now, there is no confirmed blockbuster deal, but that hasn't stopped people from imagining what could happen if circumstances ever changed. That's exactly why this story refuses to slow down. The next chapter could change the conversation completely, or the rumors could fade if Indiana finds a way to steady the situation. Until then, every update will be under the microscope, and fans won't stop talking about what's next for Caitlin Clark and the Fever. If you're following every twist and every new report, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. We'll keep breaking down the biggest WNBA stories, the latest rumors, and every major development as they happen.